For the last time this weekend in the F4 United Arab Emirates Championship battle, it is time to go to war here in Dubai. And what a sensational battle it has been already through the course of the weekend, as one man quests to win all three races this weekend at a canter. The Tiger himself, Tuukka Tarppanen. He won race 1, he won race 2. Can he make it a hat-trick in race 3? Jake Sanson here from the commentary box position. Feline Wang is down on the starting grid to grab our pole position sitter, the man himself, Tuukka Tarppanen. But it is going to be an interesting challenge, this third race. Obviously, the competitors now know what is expected of them. It is going to be the hottest point of the weekend in terms of the circuit temperature, because they won't be in the shade on the start-finish line anymore. It'll be the hottest point of the day, 12:22 local time here in the United Arab Emirates. So it's obviously going to be a very interesting and intriguing battle from here on out to see who is going to get the third win of the weekend. And there is going to be a challenge for Tuukka Tarppanen from the front of the grid. Let's see how it all unfolded in the previous encounter. Race 2 was all about this man, Jesse Carrasquedo, leading by example from the front after his interesting tactic in race 1 to pit up for fresh tyres. There were problems from the start, however, as Alex Boljuev stalled and the former championship leader Yugo Ugachukwu struck his car and retired in dramatic circumstances. No points for the American, as Tuukka Tarppanen and James Wharton slotted into second and third behind Jesse Carrasquedo. For Ugachukwu, it could be game over for the championship. Jesse Carrasquedo then tragically and rather dramatically missed the pit lane entry behind the safety car. That would give him a 5-second penalty at the end of the race. A fascinating battle all the way through the field as Valerio Rinicella found he was struggling for the scraps of points. Arvid Lindblad duelled away with Keanu Adazari as they worked their way through the field, but there was a spin further back as several drivers hit trouble. There was good progress from several contenders in the field, and certainly Federico Rafai was hoping to get onto the podium past Noah Stromsted with Pedro Claro in tow. One man was on the march though. That was Nanavad Birambakti trying to work his way forward. Unfortunately, Valentin Klus ran out of luck and spun off in the first corner. And then Theo Jensen accidentally spun his car and struck Georgi Juravsky, both drivers out on the spot. That would end the race behind the safety car, and with Jesse Carrasquedo's 5-second penalty applied, the race winner would not be the one who crossed the line first. Sadly, Carrasquedo would drop to 10th. Tuukka Tarppanen inheriting the win, his second of the weekend, his third of the year, and now he wants the triple. So here they are on the starting grid, and there is a genuine opportunity for Tuukka Tarppanen to make it 3 wins here this weekend in Dubai. And who knows, he could well get the job done. What can Feline Wang get out of him on the grid?
Hey Tuukka, you are looking very strong and consistent. Will you keep your pace for this championship fight?
Yeah, I think we will have a good pace for this race, and I will of course try to win all these 3 races. And I'm starting from pole, so I need to get only good start and focus on my own driving.
Good luck with the race. 那刚刚我问到 Tuukka 呢，他这一场，因为他已经获得了这个比赛中的2场的胜利了，他也提到呢，今天我是从头位，这一场比赛呢，我是从头位发车，那么我希望呢，我有更好的一个表现呢，希望能够再继续拿到一个好的成绩。Also for the commentators, just for information, I just heard from the team, the Tuukka will use an old tire from the qualifying. Back to you guys.
Thanks again, Feline. Always interesting to hear what the pole sitter has to say in these situations, but particularly in terms of Tuukka Tarppanen. He's already got himself 2 race victories here. This is Yugo Ugachukwu. He starts 6th on the grid this time in race 3, so he's got a better chance of scoring points, which he really needs to do. He's had 2 races from hell so far this weekend and has seen his championship lead disappear and has actually fallen incredibly to 3rd in the standings after scoring 2 points over the course of the weekend. He was leading the championship coming into this weekend, so now he's got to do a lot of work to get it back again. 36 points scored so far this weekend for James Wharton, 50 for Tuukka Tarppanen, 2 for Yugo Ugachukwu, and a mere 16 for Valerio Rinicella. Rinicella is actually catching Ugachukwu as well now. He's only 9 points behind him, so this could suddenly turn very nasty indeed for the American. It's going to be very entertaining indeed, this third and final race. James Wharton has 167 points. Tuukka Tarppanen has 151, so he's only 16 points behind him. Yugo Ugachukwu is 144, which means that unbelievably he's now 23 points back from James Wharton. Valerio Inicella is a further 9 points further back. So 32 points covers the top 4 drivers in the championship, with 100 points still available from this race. And from not this race, from the rest of this season, I should say. But a very dramatic set of races is to come as a result of that. There is Akshay Bora, we just saw very briefly, looking for a much stronger race than we have seen from him over the course of the weekend. And Akshay Bora is going to start from 8th position on the grid, on the outside of the 4th row beside James Pezik. So a great opportunity for Akshay Bora. Much stronger in the second qualifying session than he was in session 1, proving that he's got good raw pace. The 3-minute board goes up, and Tuka Tarpanen is sharing the front row of the starting grid with none of the drivers we've mentioned heretofore. And that man on the front row of the grid with him is the young man from Dubai, Keanu Al-Azhari, for the Yas Heat Racing Academy, this brand new race team for 2023, funded and orchestrated by the Abu Dhabi government to support young racing talent here in the country, from the worlds of esports and karting up to the ladder of car racing in F4. And there are 3 supreme talents in this team, not one. Keanu Al-Azhari, who starts from the front row of the grid, and then his teammates Hamda Al-Kubaisi, who starts this race from a very competitive and very challenging 22nd on the grid. Matteo Quintarelli starting 25th on the grid. They are showing great support to their local racing drivers, who all are based here in the United Arab Emirates, and they all carry the Emirate flag. So it's an important opportunity for them to showcase their skills and their ability on the world stage. But there are some very strong names up at the front end of the field here. And for Keanu Al-Azhari, for all those who are wondering where he's been all season, well, he's been in the mix. He's had his opportunity. He's had the straight line speed. And if you have been hardcore watching his sector times, in each sector he has had the ability to be pole position, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th. In every qualifying session, he just hasn't had the luck of stringing it all together. When you've got 40 cars out there on the course, trying to get a clean lap in qualifying is not easy to orchestrate. And he's had a lot of bad luck. He probably would have been on the podium in race 1 had it not been for a spinning Arvid Lindblad spearing into the side of Keanu Al-Azhari. He actually managed to get past Arvid Lindblad on the first lap after the restart in race 1 on pure ability and merit. So hopefully he'll get the chance to shine from the front row of the grid this time as he goes for the victory. 3rd position on the starting grid, though, is Arvid Lindblad, and he'll want to finish his weekend with a decent result. He got the win in race 3 in Dubai in the first weekend. James Wharton is in 4th position and will be feeling a little bit of the pressure here down in 4th place on the grid, especially now that Tuka Tarpanen has won twice. With Wharton down in 4th, if it were to end like this, the 16-point advantage that Wharton has would suddenly disappear and only become a 3-point advantage heading to Yas Marina. So it's crucial that James Wharton can try and stop his teammate Tuka Tarpanen from getting the victory this time, because he wants to give as much of a decent starting position as possible. A bit of a storm cloud, a dust cloud coming over the circuit on the run to the victory. That's another big difficulty here in Dubai. The winds really can cause a bit of an issue for the unsuspecting. Hopefully that's going to clear quite quickly. It looks like it has. But we're going to get a very exciting race from here on in. The 3rd and final encounter of the F4 UAE Championship 2023 round 4 from the Dubai Autodrome. And Tuka Tarpanen will lead them around. Can he really get the triple here this weekend? He's got a great chance, but the Tiger is ready to take it all. As the competitors get their way, there's somebody stalled on the grid. So someone is not moving, and that is not good news at all. So someone is going to have to try and recover. Let's go through the grid regardless. Tuka Tarpanen lines up on the front row of the grid alongside Keanu Al-Azhari. That is the Mumbai Falcon alongside the Yas Heat Race Academy driver on the front row of the starting grid. The second row will see Arvid Lindblad for High-Tech alongside James Wharton of the Mumbai Falcons, and he is the championship leader. Valerio Inicella is P5 on the grid, and he's alongside Yugo Ugachukwu. Here is the grid in full. Tarpanen and Al-Azhari both competing for the win. Lindblad and Wharton, both race winners this year. But who's going to get the race 3 victory in Dubai? Valerio Inicella alongside the former championship leader Yugo Ugachukwu. James Pezik for Australia alongside Akshay Bora in the PHM. And rounding up the top 10, Brando Badua, who got a podium yesterday, and Kanato Lee, who has every chance of making it happen. Dion Gouda alongside Nicola Lacorte on the 11th and 12th positions of the grid. Will McIntyre and Valentin Klus are together on row 7. Row 8 of the grid sees Pedro Claro and Theophile Nile who are both trying to make up some progress. Then the 9th row of the grid sees Alex Abkasava and Noah Lyle as they share the 9th row of the grid. And rounding out the top 20, Jesse Carrasquedo and Fernando Barrichello. That's halfway through the field now. Zachary David is down in 21st. Hamder Al-Kubaisi wanting to make progress from 22nd. Then Bianca Bustamante, who scored points in the first race today. Federico Rifai in 24th beside her. Matteo Quintarelli and Lena Bueller will share the 13th row of the grid. Row 14 sees Rafael Narak alongside Nandavud Birambakti of the PHM team. Then it is Jack Beaton, the Australian, alongside the Frenchman Luciano Morano. And then on row 16, it's Noah Stromsted way down the order alongside Alex Bolduev after difficulties in qualifying. Sebastian Murray lines up alongside Kai Darianani. And then on row 18 of the grid, it is Theo Jensen alongside Georgi Żurawski. After their collision in the earlier race, they'll want to stay away from each other. Victoria Blokina lines up beside Rishon Rajiv in the Mumbai Falcons, number 28. And then Flavio Olivieri and Ismail Ahmed complete the grid. Now, it looks to me as though there were some problems for Flavio Olivieri on the starting grid itself. I'm not sure if he was actually able to get the car moving or not. Certainly, that's going to cause a little bit of a headache as we get ready for racing. And there were a couple of drivers that did not manage to get away from the grid at all. I didn't actually see from that angle that we saw on the main straight who it was that we didn't get moving. We'll try and pick it up as quickly as possible, but obviously when you've got 40 drivers to talk about and the formation lap is almost over, your priorities are making sure that the drivers are in their starting positions. Tukka Tarpanen in pole, going for the hat-trick of victories, but beside him Kiano Al-Azari for the Yazheat Racing Academy, the newest team in the F4 UAE Championship, really hoping that they can win their first race in their first season of competition. And for the boy from Dubai, he knows this place very well indeed. His father is a very admirable and respected sports car racer who has won multiple titles here. And he even had the distinct honour of taking me around the course a couple of years ago in a Porsche 911 GT2 around this very circuit, and I still haven't gotten over it. Fabulous race place this, and a magnificent circuit. But Keanu knows this place. He's grown up around this circuit. Never before has he had a better chance to showcase to the world what he can do. And we're all, here in the United Arab Emirates, all the locals, will be rooting for him. A boy who grew up on the kart circuit over the road. And now he has a chance to come of age and show everyone what he's made of. Now, there's a car out of position on the main straight. That's one of the XLs struggling to get into position on the grid there. So that's not gone quite according to plan. So there's definitely a car out of position there on the main straight. Well, that particular driver looks like they might pick up a penalty for that. But everyone is in position regardless. The green flag will fly. But I think there could be a penalty handed out to one of the drivers at the back for not being in the right place at the start. Never mind that. We'll go racing once we get ourselves underway. Oh no, it looks as though we've got an aborted start. So they go round again. It is an aborted start. And that is to allow the contenders to go around one more time. Now, interestingly, the timer has ticked down. I don't think that's correct because I think they've gone round again. The race hasn't started. And it's because these last few cars are out of position on the grid. And one of them is not moving. It is a Santa Lock that is now not going anywhere. Now, that looks to me like it might be Luciano Morano not moving. So, obviously, this is not the race start. This is a bit of a difficulty in getting the start underway. But interestingly, the cars that are not moving from the previous start were Jesse Carrasquedo and Flavio Olivieri. So Carrasquedo's day has gone from bad to worse. He didn't take the original start, and neither did Flavio Olivieri. I think both drivers are trying to take the start from the pits in the hope that they can go racing, but this is a false start, so the race will be reset and the drivers will go around again, as if they didn't need any more tension and any more build-up. So there are Carrasquedo and Olivieri waiting at the end of the pits. How bad can things get from Jesse Carrasquedo, from the win to then have it taken away from him at the end of race 2 with a 5-second penalty, which, as harsh as the penalty was, the rule is very clear. If you're following the safety car into the pits, you cannot traverse the white line into the pit lane. He missed the pit lane entry altogether. He didn't follow the safety car in through the pit lane, and he should have done. And he realised at the last minute, but unfortunately, he had already incurred the wrath of the penalty. He wasn't paying attention at the right moment, very sadly. And that penalty cost him the victory. which then handed it to Tukka Tarpanen ahead of James Wharton. And in third place, Noah Stromsted, which is rather unfortunate for Noah Stromsted looking back now, because Noah is going to start from 31st on the grid for this one. Another podium, looking very much an outside shot. And as you can see, all the drivers just getting themselves up to speed again, warming the tyres and brakes one more time for the second formation lap. Do please keep your comments and your messages coming in on the YouTube stream. They are very appreciated. We'll be able to continue with an amazing battle. So this is going to be a very large percentage of this field are going to be battling around the streets of Monaco, on the mountain at Bathurst, on the Brickyard at Indianapolis, and into the night at the Circuit de la Sarthe. You never know what these futures are going to be growing into, what these legacies are going to transform as far as these amazing young talents. But these young men and women could well rewrite the future of the sport. There's some plenty of great races to come in their careers, and this is really the first baby steps in their career. 40 young drivers from all around the world in the F4 United Arab Emirates Championship. And Chiano Al-Azari pulls off to the left to take up his place once again on the front row. What can the young boy from Dubai do? This is a big moment for him. A big moment for the country as well. Wouldn't be the first time that anybody from the United Arab Emirates took a race victory. But to do so on home soil in your first season as a rookie in F4, that would be very special. Tukka Tarpanen, pole position, going for race win number 3. Arvid Lindblad just needs to drag something out of a frustrating weekend. He's been at the front in terms of speed all weekend long, but he really wants to convert that into a solid result in race 3. James Wharton leading the championship, but if it stays like this, his lead will drop from 16 points to just 3. A lot to play for in this race, and everybody knows it. So the battle begins. The green flag flies. This time it's a cleaner start. Garashkeda and Olivieri will start from the pits. But now we're ready for race 3 of round 4 here in Dubai. Let's go racing! Good start from the pole sitter, Tukka Tarpanen. Al-Azari's got a good clean start as well in front of Wharton. Lindblad looks pretty comfortable, trying to slot into the toe of Tukka Tarpanen, but Wharton's going to get alongside Al-Azari. Al-Azari needs to be very careful. He's got 2 to his left, but Al-Azari commits to the inside line. He's going to hold on a second. Good work, Chiano. Brilliant job. Second place for him as he works his way through, and Lindblad and Wharton nearly trip over each other as Rinicello works his way up into 5th position. A good start from the Italian, and Ugachukwu was held on to P6 further back. So as everybody works their way through the first few corners, Chiano Al-Azari has done exactly what he needed to. He has held firm and not buckled under the pressure. There's contact further back. Problems for 2 or 3 cars getting involved. It's one of the PHMs. I think that is Nandavid Bakdi. So we think we have lost Nandavid Bakdi in the back of the field there. And everyone else is trying to work their way forward. But Tarpanen leads, Al-Azari second. Lindblad, Wharton, Rinicello and Ugachukwu. It's as they started in the top 6. And they go down the back straight. A little bit of jockeying for position as Dion Gouda takes on one of the high-techs. Akshay Bora trying to defend his position as well. Down into the hairpin. Everybody just trying to keep themselves to themselves and stay out of dodge. A few drivers trying a choice maneuver or 2 as everybody tries to stay out of harm's way on this opening lap. And despite the problems further back, Akshay Bora, look, he's really hustling to try and stay in position here in front of Brando Badoa. Akshay Bora holding his own there. Real good defence from Akshay Bora as a few of the other drivers drift wide. But Akshay Bora, who looks like he's got pretty decent tyres on the car, is keeping it fairly nicely planted. Now Dion Gouda going wheel to wheel with the Santa Lock there. I think that's going to be Teofil Nal trying to get him around the outside. No, you don't, says Dion Gouda. That's a perfectly acceptable move, but you're not taking it from me. Yes, I am, says Teofil Nal. Dives back in on the inside as Valentin Klus goes wheel to wheel with Pedro Claro further back. So as they come through at the end of the first lap, lots to talk about, lots to hustle, and some great racing is already in the offing. Tarpanen leads, Al-Azhari second, Lindblad in third. Fourth is Wharton, then Minichella, Ugachukwu, Pizik, Bora, Badua, Lee, Nile and McIntyre. And here we go again, trying to make the mid down the straight. That is Claro, hanging on in front of Valentin Klus and Nicola Lacorte. And 3 wide further back, that's going to end in tears if we're not careful. Lyle, David and Rifai. And that's really big wobbling from David, who goes drifting wide off the course. David and Rifai desperately trying not to tangle with each other. Noah Lyle trying to take avoiding action. And as the field swarms its way through, this is a great run from 13th. It's Gauda, Claro, Klus, Lacorte, and then Noah Lyle and Federico Rifai. Great racing in the midfield. Fortunately, the incident we saw on the lap 1 has pushed the debris right off the racing line, and the cars have continued. No safety car as yet. And look, Al-Azhari is in the slipstream of Tuukka Tarpanen. He knows he's got a chance. Tarpanen is feeling the pressure, and that is game over for the 3rd race in a row for Theo Jensen. So Theo Jensen in trouble. And there's cars galore in pit road. That is Jack Beaton and Nandavid Bakti as well as Lena Buehler. Let's look again on the replay as to what happened on the previous lap. Oh no, wait, this is on lap 2. Someone's just gone straight into the back of the 30 of Theo Jensen. And Jensen is not going any further. So at the foot of the back straight, this is the move on the inside. Will McIntyre trying to get through to make the overtaking manoeuvre on Pedro Claro. So the Brazilian Pedro Claro is doing his best to hold the position in behind Dion Gauda. But Will McIntyre is trying to get it back again. McIntyre looking for the move on the inside of the hairpin. He's got to go long on the brakes, but he will get the inside line. And McIntyre's going to commit. Claro will still have traction on the far side. So Claro hangs on. Nicola Lacorte is just in behind them. And then it is Valentin Klus. And then we have Noah Lyle trying to hang on in front of David and Rifai. Klus on the inside of Lacorte. Lacorte is not letting it happen. So Nicola Lacorte comes through at the end of the 2nd lap. We are still green flags. And it's Tarpanen from Al-Azhari, Lindblad and Wharton. Look how close the 4 of them are. Rinicella, Ugachukwu, Pizik and Bora. No domination for Tarpanen. He's really going to have to work for this. As up the inside, that is McIntyre going wheel to wheel with Nicola Lacorte. He's not going to give him any space. Lacorte has to drift off the road. And Lacorte is going to fall in behind Valentin Klus. So a good run. Great battles so far here in F4 UAE, but Tarpanen leads Al-Azhari. Lindblad, Wharton and Rinicella. Great work from the 4 leading drivers up front, particularly for Keanu Al-Azhari. He's had absolutely no luck so far in 2023, but the Yas Heat Race Academy youngster, there he is in 2nd behind Tuukka Tarpanen. He's finally showcasing what he really can do. He's been a superstar here in the United Arab Emirates in both Rotax and IAME classes. He's been training in the gearbox categories out here in the United Arab Emirates the last 18 months. Here we go. Here's Wharton making the move on Lindblad. Wharton dives in on Lindblad. Lindblad does not want to let him have it. Lindblad's going to try and defend again, and he's made it stick. So Lindblad holds on. Wharton's going the long way round, though. Lindblad still back to the inside line. Watch for Rinicella. Watch for Rinicella around the far side. Lindblad's back to the inside. Rinicella's going to have them both if they're not careful. Wharton drifts onto the curves. And Al-Azhari's been gifted 2nd place. No problems at all here as we run 3 wide for 3rd position. Wharton, Lindblad, Rinicella. Rinicella trying to drive around the outside of both men. He'll have traction on the far side. And he's got Lindblad. Brilliant from Rinicella. He gets past Arvid Lindblad into 4th position, but their squabble has given Tarpanen and Al-Azhari some breathing space. And that's exactly what they wanted. Lindblad going to get back on the charge after Rinicella now. Down the main straight. Watch for Lindblad making his bid. He's on the slipstream. He's going to pull out of the draft. No issues at all, but Rinicella is going to try and squeeze into the 1st corner. Lindblad thinks better of it. Rinicella trying to shut the door. Watch for Ugachukwu behind them. Lindblad will try and go the long way round. Lindblad commits. Oh, he has to drift wide. And he's got him. Brilliant from Lindblad. Arvid Lindblad picks up the move on Valerio Rinicella. Now, will he be able to keep that? That's going to be debatable, of course. But Lindblad has got the move there around the outside of Valerio Rinicella, and Ugachukwu is going to want to move up into the top 5. Great racing, and now Akshay Bora is coming to join the party. Akshay Bora is all over Ugachukwu. The man who dominated race 1 and 2 at round 1 here at Dubai is under pressure from the young pretender Akshay Bora. So Bora's really going into it. A little bit of a run wide from Brandon Badua behind James Physique. But Keanu Al-Azari doesn't have quite so much pressure for the drivers behind him now. He can focus purely on Tuka Tarpanen up front. All he has to do is look after his tyres, and the opportunity will come his way. Here's Akshay Bora on the inside of Yuga Ugachukwu. Can he take the former championship leader? He squeezes the American. Oh, Ugachukwu leans on him on the inside of the radius. No contact, but Akshay Bora had to have a very tough choice to make there. And now he's got James Physique to his left, trying to drive around the outside of him. No, you don't, says Akshay Bora. I'm taking on Ugachukwu. I'm not going to concede an easy overtaking move. Thank you very much. Now Brandon Badua trying to come around the far side of James Physique and slot in behind Akshay Bora. And can he dive into the inside? Not if Akshay Bora's got anything to say about it. Look at Teofil Nal around the outside. Teofil Nal plants in around the outside of James Physique. Now he's going to try and take on Brandon Badua. Formidable from Teofil Nal. That is amazing stuff. Now he's going for the inside line of the final bend of Brandon Badua. That's brave. But Teofil Nal forces Badua to take to the out escape road. Onto the runoff area goes Badua. Slots back in position. Teofil Nal trying to get through. Badua trying to shake him off. Nal goes all the way across. He can't get by, so he has to bail out. Teofil Nal tries again. Now, I don't think he'll get a penalty for that, because yes, he had to go right off the racetrack, but he didn't gain an advantage from doing so. That's going to be the key difference. Look at Keanu Al-Azari putting Tuka Tarpanen under immense pressure. Great work from the Dubai youngster. Lives on the Palm Jumeirah. He invited me a couple of years ago to take a canoe out onto the water. He has a fabulous, fabulous downtime. And he's absolutely chilled in second position. A wonderful run. Here they come down the back straight. And you can see Tarpanen's really feeling the heat from Keanu Al-Azari. Get off me, says the Finn. But Keanu Al-Azari has a real chance here, and he knows it. He knows he's putting Tarpanen under pressure. He doesn't go for the strange move. Lindblad is having to defend from Rinicella further back. Now Lindblad is really struggling here in fourth position. Wharton's long gone in third. But Lindblad is trying to hang on in front of Rinicella, having got past the Italian again. I didn't see where Lindblad got into fourth position, unfortunately, but he has managed to get through past Rinicella. Rinicella's got him back, though. And so Lindblad is now under pressure from... Is that Bora behind him? It is! So actually Bora's not only caught Ugachukwu, he's passed him. Great work from Akshay Bora. Right up in the top six now. Exactly where the young gun needs to be. And where he deserves to be as well. You don't just take on Yuga Ugachukwu lightly. Akshay Bora really starting to prove himself here. He's always had that speed. He's always had that ability. I think the only thing that's ever held him back was that he didn't believe it. He's going to have to believe it after today. He hasn't just overtaken anybody. He's overtaken the former championship leader. So Tarpanen, Al-Azari, Wharton, Rinicella, Lindblad, Bora. That's your top six. Look how close Al-Azari is getting to Tarpanen, but he wants to keep the Finn guessing. He's not going to chuck it up the inside. He's got a much smarter tactic up his sleeve as Keanu Al-Azari. There's a long, long race to go. He doesn't want to just throw caution to the winds here. He's got a real opportunity. There's Valentin Klus, still dueling with Nicola Lacorte. We have had 11 minutes elapse in this race and not a single safety car yet. Great to see that the drivers are learning. And while there are a couple of incidents that we can talk about further back in this race, we haven't had anything that can result in a safety car period. So the drivers continue on their way through. But Tarpanen and Al-Azari, look at Keanu Al-Azari, he's all over the back of Tuka Tarpanen. The local fans will be on their feet. Keanu Al-Azari spitting the exhaust fumes of Tuka Tarpanen. Tarpanen really feeling the pressure from Keanu Al-Azari. But again, Al-Azari is not playing it stupid. He's just keeping it nice and calm. He's letting Tuka Tarpanen do all the hard work. He's looking after his tyres. He's sitting in the slipstream. Tarpanen is the one sweating here. Keanu Al-Azari is playing it smart. Just sitting behind him all the way. Doesn't have to make any silly mistakes here, this Keanu Al-Azari. He's in the perfect position. And that is an off from one of the XL Motorsport cars. That is Georgi Żurawski. Now, how's he done that? Whoa! He's done it all on his own. Very unfortunate for Georgi Żurawski. Now, that would have been a crosswind hitting him at exactly the wrong angle. And it would have just spat him off the road. Hopefully he can keep going. Now, a little further back in the pack, we're watching Lee. We're watching McIntyre, Klus, Lecourte and Rifai. And Rifai's getting his run on the inside of Nicola Lecourte. Trying to edge him out through the inside line. Lecourte gets him back on the switcheroo. Federico Rifai's coming back at him. Lecourte trying to squeeze him. Rifai is not going to concede. And Federico Rifai gets through in the final bend. Nice move. Don't you dare try and intimidate me. Oh, how about the cast of Falcons up front? They are trying to arrange a pincer movement on Keanu Al-Azhari and put him under pressure. Wharton wants the championship lead, and he knows that it's going to be decimated if he stays down in third, as round the outside, this is Rifai versus Lecourte again. Lecourte trying to take on Federico Rifai. It's not just in the lead where we've got great battles, in the midfield as well. Terrific racing from these 40 young men and women. Tukka Tarpanen under big pressure from Al-Azhari. James Wharton just trying to take away some of the points lost to Tukka Tarpanen. If Tarpanen stays where he is in the lead and Wharton stays where he is in third, then Tarpanen closes that gap from 16 points to 6 points heading to the final 3 races of the year. So Tarpanen all of a sudden becoming a big thorn in the side for James Wharton. Wharton's going to make the bid on Al-Azhari. No, you don't, says Keanu. It's taken me 11, 12 races to get up to this point. There's no way I'm letting you have this. Keanu Al-Azhari, who has gone wheel to wheel with James Wharton in the past in karting. And here they are battling away in F4. But Keanu Al-Azhari is not about to let a silly mistake creep in. The car is pushing very hard indeed. The Yaz Heat Race Academy working hard to stay in front. Al-Azhari working every trick in the book, holding the car to the middle of the road. Wharton will try and go the long way round. No chance, sunshine. Al-Azhari holds it. Beautiful. Second place from the boy for Dubai. Looking very good at the moment. 8 minutes 40 to go. Down to the final bend. Tarpanen, Al-Azhari, Wharton. And it looks like these 3 could well finish on the podium. But in what order? Lindblad is 4th. Rinicella is 5th. Akshay Bora in a fine 6th. Teofil Nal is up to 7th. Ugachukwu is down to 8th. And this is going to drop him to 4th in the Drivers' Championship. He was leading coming into the weekend. But that shows you how competitive it is in the F4 UAE Championship. Tukka Tarpanen is about to get one step closer to taking the lead of the championship. Wharton is all over Keanu Al-Azhari like a bad habit. 8 minutes plus the additional lap to go. And Al-Azhari needs to put pressure on Tarpanen, not have pressure from Wharton. How long would you sustain that kind of pressure? Well, if you're Keanu Al-Azhari, you can soak up a lot of pressure. He's had to deal with a lot in his young karting career, leaving the United Arab Emirates to go to Europe to take on the best drivers in the world. And he did put on a great showcase for the Tony Kart Factory team over the course of last year. Back here in the United Arab Emirates, he was winning in the gearbox category when he was half the age of most of his competitors. So he knows how to deal with pressure. Keanu Al-Azhari very much soaking up the adrenaline here from James Wharton. But this is Keanu Al-Azhari's playground. He knows this place better than any other driver in the top 3. Tukka knows it now. Wharton knows it now. But Keanu Al-Azhari grew up here. He has felt the wind in his hair. He has tamed the circuit in testing. He has watched his dad and his friends and his buddies and his heroes on this very circuit. He knows how to get it right. Locks up a little bit into the hairpin. But he catches the car before it does any serious damage to his position. Tukka Tarpanen going for the triple. He won race 1, he won race 2. He's looking good in race 3, but Keanu Al-Azhari and James Wharton are not letting him run away with it. 3.5 minutes to go, plus the additional lap. By my maths, that means we've got 3 laps remaining. As Rinicella runs wide out of the final turn behind Lindblad, and Akshay Bora senses he's probably vulnerable. I might be able to get him on this lap. The leading trio continue. James Wharton is doing everything he can to put Keanu Al-Azhari under pressure, as the young man from Dubai is doing likewise with Tukka Tarpanen. The Branda Badua has now got past Yuga Ugachukwu. That drops the American to 9th position. What a disastrous weekend this is for the American. It was all going beautifully for the McLaren junior driver. And now his championship aspirations are in tatters. He's going to need a perfect weekend in Yas Marina to win this title after all. So there is the battle further back. This is the duel towards the tail end. Charlie. This is MP's Ismail Ahmed with Luciano Morano and Fernando Barrichello. Meanwhile, Al-Azhari is caught back up to Tarpanen. He's been looking after the tyres as best as possible. And now Tarpanen is feeling the heat from Keanu Al-Azhari. Go away. I want to win the triple in peace. Leave me alone. Remember me, says Keanu Al-Azhari. I'm coming for you. They duelled last year in the FIA Karting European Championships. And here they are again, duelling in Dubai. Tuukka Tarpanen versus Keanu Al-Azhari. And Al-Azhari has looked after the tyres beautifully here. Yes, he may have had a lock-up on the previous lap, but he's managed to hunt down Tuukka Tarpanen just when the Finn thought he had this one. Don't even think about it, says Keanu Al-Azhari. I'm not done with you yet. I can win. I know I can win. Tarpanen goes a little deep. Al-Azhari's got a chance. Don't run before you can walk. Just take your time. Tarpanen's the one with his backs against the ropes, Keanu. Into the final bend. And they'll have 2 to go. James Wharton just keeping a watching brief, staying close enough as Rifai and Lacorte are still dueling with each other behind Valentin Klus. Rifai still unable to shake off Nicola Lacorte, and behind them is Alexander Abkasava. With 2 laps to go, Tarpanen and Al-Azhari are very close. Wharton is trying to get closer to Al-Azhari down the straight. And there's a big battle going on as Fernando Barrichello duels with Luciano Morano, and they bang wheels. Morano just trying to keep Fernando Barrichello off his tail, hoping to hold on. Barrichello tries again. Not going to have him on that occasion. And they're trying to close up on Ismail Ahmed in front of them, the Uzbekistani. Ismail Ahmed trying to hold on. Morano and Barrichello having a great duel behind him. But Ismail Ahmed really needs to be careful to hold on to this. Morano's going to get the inside line, and Ahmed has to let him go. So Ismail Ahmed, the Uzbekistani, has now got pressure from Barrichello. Barrichello's going to get through. Thank you very much, says Fernando Barrichello as the door opens. But Ismail Ahmed, where's Ismail Ahmed going? He decided to take to the escape road, and that's enough for Fernando Barrichello to get through. No worries. Well, that fizzles that battle out for a bit. Back to the leaders. 3, 2, 1. Time up. Now or never. This next lap coming up is going to be the last one as Al-Azhari gets closer than ever to Tuukka Tarpanen. Tarpanen really wants the hat-trick. Al-Azhari wants his first car racing win on his 12th attempt. Keanu Al-Azhari working hard. He was on the podium in the trophy races at Yas Marina supporting the Grand Prix. Now he's got a chance to win in Dubai, and he knows he's got the chance. Of all of the drivers that competed in the trophy round back at the end of 2022, Keanu Al-Azhari is definitely looking the strongest of them and the one who has learnt the most. Now he's got 1 lap to try and take on Tuukka Tarpanen and defend from James Wharton in the same breath. Can Keanu Al-Azhari put the United Arab Emirates flag on the top step of the podium here in Dubai? Up to the first corner. Tarpanen hasn't cracked under the pressure, but he's certainly been feeling it. Al-Azhari has thrown everything he can at Tuukka Tarpanen, but there's still the big move to come. James Wharton in 3rd place needs to move forward. Otherwise, his big championship advantage of 16 points is going to be cut by more than half. All 3 of these drivers need to make a move. Tarpanen to defend, Al-Azhari and Wharton to attack, and still Morano and Barrichello are dueling away down the main straight on the last lap. But we need to get back to the leaders. Tarpanen, Al-Azhari, Wharton. Lindblad in 4th, Rinicella in 5th, from Nile, Bora, Badua, Ogachukwu, and Bazzi. Here we go, Al-Azhari in the draft of Tarpanen. But Tarpanen's not going to let him get close enough. Al-Azhari's going to try what he can do. He's going to get close, he's going to get close. He just needs to put Tarpanen under enough pressure. Tarpanen is not going to yield. Wharton is not going to shake off the attack. A bit of a twitch there from Tarpanen as Lacorte duels away for position further back. Oh no, wait, is that Ogachukwu battling with Bazzi? Yes, it is. Ugachukwu and Physique battling for the final points positions, would you believe? Ugachukwu's season really has gone up in smoke these last 3 races. What a shame for the American. As we look back to the leaders, can Tarpanen hold on in the front? Tarpanen's doing his best. We're watching Physique trying to make his move on Ugachukwu to drop him down to 10th position. And there's not much to choose between the Australian and the American. But diving through up the inside, one last bid from Al-Azhari. He's going to try. You may as well. It isn't going to happen. You're going to hang on to second. A great effort, Keanu. But Tuukka Tarpanen gets the triple. Brilliant. All 3 men have been extraordinary in this race. Tuukka Tarpanen gets the hat-trick of 3 race victories in amazing style. Keanu Al-Azhari, the boy from Dubai, shows the world what he can do. In second place, hustling the king from Finland all the way home. Keanu Al-Azhari puts up the closest threat to Tuukka Tarpanen. And James Wharton has to settle for 3rd. And the knowledge that his championship lead is cut from 16 points to just 6. Championship game on in Yas Marina, and finally Keanu Al-Azhari gets the result he deserves. And oh dear, that's the final turn of the final lap. Fernando Barrichello trips over Ismail Ahmed. Well, how did that happen? Into the final turn. Oh, Fernando Barrichello's lost his front wing, and he's lost a lot more than that. Whoops, that was not the way the race was meant to end. And Ismail Ahmed shows his disgust at Fernando Barrichello. But Tuukka Tarpanen becomes the first driver this season to win a hat-trick. Race 1, race 2, race 3. Superb. It is very hard to begrudge him a shot at the championship title now. What an amazing race. What a sensational charge from Tuukka the Tiger. 3 races and 3 brilliant, brilliant victories. And surely now, a shot at the title is imminent. He is only 6 points behind James Wharton in the championship. But in the form Tuukka Tarpanen is in, all he needs is a decent qualifying in Yas Marina, and he can turn this title around. What an amazing young driver Tuukka Tarpanen is turning out to be. No wonder Ferrari took one look at him and said, that man's got legend written all over him. We want the Tiger, said Ferrari. And the Tiger has come to tea. 3 races, 3 victories in fantastic fashion. Excellent performance from Tuukka Tarpanen, and Finland can get very, very excited now. They've waited a while to see who their next world champion could be. 2007, Kimi Räikkönen got the job done. Before him, it was of course Mika Häkkinen in 1998 and 1999. They'd had to wait quite a while prior to that when Keke Rosberg won the title in 1982. The 4th man from Finland to win a world championship title could be the man you're looking at. It's early days, but with this kind of performance, this kind of mentality, and this kind of legacy that he's already building, stop him if you dare. Keanu Al-Azhari is going to celebrate with the As Heat team, and rightly so. James Wharton can be quietly comfortable with 3rd place, but he knows there's a big job ahead in Yas Marina. But what about this boy? 3 out of 3. Stop him winning races at your peril. He is just uncrushable. The hat-trick hero is the man who at the start of the season had never won a car race. How about that? He'd never even driven a car race before this season began. And now he is the only man this season to win 3 races out of 3 in a weekend. Beat that. And how about that? Keanu Al-Azhari and Tuukka Tarpanen embrace on a sporting battle. And that really was a sporting battle. Keanu tried every trick in the book to get past Tuukka Tarpanen. He couldn't quite manage it, but he gave him the fight of his life. And Keanu Al-Azhari can be so proud of his achievements. In 2nd place, the young man from Dubai really has proven, to me at least, driver of the day. Under all that pressure, he didn't quaver, he didn't crumble. And there he gets the pats on the back from everybody in the paddock. Too right. Well done, Keanu Al-Azhari. A worthy second. Down in the pit lane, though, Tuka Tarpanen is with Feline Wang yet again.
Wow, Tuka, congratulations. 3 wins in a row for a weekend. It must be very memorable for you.
Yeah, incredible weekend. Two pole positions, 3 wins. It's perfect weekend. The last race was not easy. I was struggling with oversteering and was very difficult to keep them behind me, but finally I did it.
Okay, congratulations. 那刚刚呢，我是问到图卡 ，Thank you。那么刚刚我认到图卡呢，他是在这个比赛中拿到了3场比赛的胜利。他说他也非常的开心，因为呢他拿到了2个杆位和3场比赛的胜利。同时而且这场比赛对他来讲非常的不容易。那么他也非常开心的拿到冠军。Back to you guys.
Tuka Tarpanen doesn't have a lot to say when he gets out of a racing car. He lets his driving do the talking. But when he's out there on the racetrack, he really knows how to get the job done. And he has made Dubai Autodrome his Sistine Chapel ceiling. That was art form from Tuka Tarpanen. A tough third race for Tuka Tarpanen right from the outset, as Keanu Al-Azhari and James Wharton were always going to give him plenty of pressure. Arvid Lindblad tried his best to stay with them in the early phase, but there was always going to be a lot of pressure. Watch Keanu Al-Azhari on the inside line at turn 1. He's in 4th at this point, but he's determined. I'm never going to get a better chance of going for the win. I'm having it. It's my day. Battles unfortunately coming a cropper further back as several drivers ended up in the wars. But there was some great racing everywhere you looked. From lap after lap, the midfielders gave just as good quality as the front runners in a race that finally passed, not without incident, but without the need for the safety car. We got great wheel-to-wheel racing from the F4 drivers, no matter where you looked, whether it was between Renicella and Lindblad up the front, or whether it was between Morano, Barrichello and Ismail Ahmed in the tail end of the field. Racing was the real winner today. We got plenty of it in spades. And how about the boy in second place who challenged right till the last corner? Keanu Al-Azhari doing a great job in second place, hustling the Tiger. But you can't take the triple away from the Tiger. Tuka Tarpanen makes it 3 from 3 here in Dubai and is now 6 points adrift in the championship fight with 3 races to go. The Flying Finn could well win. A big result for Tuka Tarpanen, and now he is on the charge for a championship attack. He can take a week off to think about it, but he could become the new champion. A big day for Tuka Tarpanen. Just over a week ago, he had never won a race in the F4 United Arab Emirates Championship. He had been consistent and solid and strong. Now he's won 4 of them, and 3 of them in a row this weekend. He's now only 6 points behind his teammate in the championship fight. And who knows, this could be the canter to the title. What an amazing performance all weekend. Here comes James Wharton. 3rd position for James, having had an exceptional result to get him to the podium. I think James Wharton's already gone to the podium, I do believe. Oh no, there he is. So James Wharton still leading the championship, having taken it in yesterday's race, having clinched the championship lead. But James Wharton is now 6 points ahead in the championship. His main rival is now his teammate, Tuka Tarpanen. But 2nd place for Keanu Al-Azhari. And what a great result. He deserves it. Brilliant run from 2nd position on the grid. Held it to the flag. But Tuka Tarpanen will not be denied here in Dubai. Win number 1, win number 2, win number 3. Domination this weekend from the Tiger. An excellent performance and a great result. Well done to James Wharton. 3 solid results put him firmly in the lead of the championship going to the final round. The Yaz Heat driver, Keanu Al-Azhari, on home soil, finishes with a valiant 2nd place. Very deserving indeed. And Tuka Tarpanen, the hat-trick hero. 2 trophies, 3 times. That's 6 new accolades to put on his mantelpiece, and very deservedly so. A week from now, he could challenge for the title. Excellent work from the boys on the podium. To Tucker, to Keanu and to James. They have been absolutely fantastic. And what a way to end the weekend with a race that was not littered and polluted with safety car periods. It was just a pure race. And what a great battle they gave us. And now it's time for the boys to get busy with the fizzy out there on the podium. And Tucker Tarpanen can celebrate in the spoils of war. 3 races, 3 wins. The championship is now on. Keanu Adazari lives up to the reputation and the expectation, and I'm sure you're going to hear more from him in the future. But with 3 races to go, it's game on between the teammates, James Wharton and Tucker Tarpanen, for the championship title. 75 points to play for, and 3 races to come. A week from now in Yas Marina. From Feline Wang and Jake Sanson and the rest of the crew, thank you very much for being with us. Tune in a week from now at Yas Marina, when the champion will be crowned.